We have finally made it to Friday. Hooray! October 24th, 2025. Oh man, I'm prepared to do a lot of talking. You want a first world problem? I got here this morning with the full intention of recording the weekend shows because, on the weekends I'm on the air from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., but I'm not actually in the studio. I'm hoping everyone knows that so that way they don't call me on the weekends and go, why isn't he answering? Why is he ignoring me? Well, it's because I'm not actually there. Through the power of radio, my voice is on the air Saturday and Sunday, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. I had my mind set on recording both those shows early this morning like I usually do on Friday mornings. But the Cannonball 101 studio, for some reason, that microphone got messed up. And when I was the only one using that studio, everything was working just fine. Now we got people walking in, recording commercials, doing all this stuff. Now all of a sudden the mic doesn't work. So, yeah, I need to record those. I need to do this afternoon show, obviously. I think Viktor might do that thing where he, quote unquote, forgets to record Jenks show, so I have to do that too, Or he's going to just I'll sweep it out. But I can't sweep out the weekend shows. I need to be on the air 24/7, right? Well, at least for 5 hours each day. But yeah, anytime you're tuned into K-Bear in the afternoon, I am here. That's right. If you want to get a hold of me, you can. This time around, 208-535-1015. I'll be chilling in here doing this thing. By the way, coming up during the 5 p.m. hour, I'll be playing the all-new Dayseeker album, Creature in the Black Night, from start to finish. It's going to be a fun time with that. I'll have the It's So New track, because I mentioned this yesterday. The way that the clocks work, there's one song at the top of the hour, and then we got to go to break. And then there's 6 songs in a row before the next break, right? So I'm not going to start the album with Pale Moonlight and then say, all right, let's cut to commercial and then come back. No, I'm going to play it after the break. First 6 songs, go to break again, play the rest of the album. Luckily, it's relatively short. It's only about 39 minutes. Dayseeker, Creature in the Black Night, taking up the whole entire 5 p.m. hour, or at least a major part of it. But yeah, it's Friday. I'm very excited for our afternoon together. I'll find some crap to talk about here in just a few on Peach's Pit Party. As I'm sure you're well aware, Sleep Token is one of the biggest bands out there. Whether you love them or you hate them, you comment on their videos saying, not metal, soft music for soft people, I'm an elitist, that type of crap. Sleep Token is obviously one of the biggest bands out there. And now they're influencing all of these other dudes and people overall to get together, start putting masks on, and start forming their own, anonymous bands. Pig Squeals and Breakdowns just posted about this band they called Great Value Sleep Token. This band's called False Saints. They're a faceless modern metal act blending the intensity of metalcore with cinematic atmosphere. Sound familiar? Their music shifts from crushing heaviness to haunting melody, drawing influence from bands like Sleep Token. No kidding! Bad Omens and Architects, while forging a distinct identity. Now, this is where they become Great Value Sleep Token. The members, Vesper 1, Cinder 2, Monolith 3, and Pulse 4 conceal their faces to remove ego from the art. I'm thinking this is a parody, but I'm just making fun of it because I know there's bound to be a band out there that would do something like this. Everyone thought that new band President, they thought, there's such an industry plant. Coworker music. I love how that's the new term now. Coworker music. You want to talk about coworker music? You got to think of a dude like Jarris Johnson. You got to think of that Tom McDonald dude. You ever meet someone and they say their favorite artist is Dax, and you're like, oh, I'm not talking music with you ever again. Anyway, it's Peach's Pit Party now with Ghost. This right here is a great question to Peach their own. What's something you're afraid of that isn't considered scary? Now, I've talked about my fear of fish. Overall, I really am just terrified of going into the ocean, all of a sudden just sinking into that sand. Seaweed wraps around my legs. There's fish trying to bite me. Fish are slimy. The bigger ones are gross too, Like the giant manta rays that look like living room rugs. They have a tail. They're swimming around. They can sting you, I think. They're terrifying to me. The Long Beach Aquarium, I used to go there all the time. I would see those manta rays, get freaked out. I would go to like a swimming party, whatever, and I'd be like terrified that some sort of manta ray was at the bottom of the pool. So I'd start all of a sudden like succumbing to my fear, and I would rush out of the pool real fast. Everyone thought I was that weird kid. What's something you're afraid of that isn't considered scary? Let's go down this list here. Eye drops. Yeah, I cannot stand eye drops. Even thinking about them makes my eyes water. Fish, number 2, right there. They're creepy. Their eyes are empty and their body movements freak me out. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Alligators, horses. Horses are not that scary. Horses are pretty friendly, actually. I like horses. Reptiles, yeah, most reptiles. You know, we all saw Viktor's reaction to holding a snake. He's terrified of snakes. Aquariums and dark rooms. Whoa. I'm not the only one who's afraid of things like that. The Long Beach Aquarium has a long hallway where on either side there's 2 tanks. And these tanks simulate waves from the ocean because that's where these fish live. And it's super loud. And when I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6, maybe 7, maybe 8, maybe all the way up to 10, I would run down that hallway. Anytime we took like a class field trip or my family and I just went, they would know when it comes to that hallway, I'm sprinting down that hallway. Basically, anyone in costume, clowns, mascots, some uniforms, well, it must suck for that person to go through Halloween. MRI machines, yeah, they're claustrophobic for sure. I just had an MRI not that long ago, and it sucked. I barely moved, and the guy was like, hey, man, you mind not wiggling around? It seems pretty blurry. You okay in there? Someone said sponges? I mean, what's also pretty freaky is like sticking your hand down the garbage. Not the garbage, the drain of your sink. Oh, terrifies me. Yeah, I'll ask this later on for the Peach the Roan. What's something you're afraid of that isn't considered scary? Okay, I was reading this here story about this college freshman named Nikki Pindor. She's becoming a viral sensation on TikTok, not for her wild antics, but for being the sober party girl at the University of Miami. It says she's out partying nearly every night, hitting up yacht parties, mansion events, clubs with $20,000 bottle service, but she doesn't drink. And she says, I don't need alcohol to get in a fun mood. Well, I think she's more so getting invited because A, she probably has a great personality, or B, she's also like, I don't know, she's a attractive woman who's, you know, showing up to these parties and all the dudes are like, yeah, I'll party with her, that type of thing. That's why she's invited to these places. You know, I'm the guy who doesn't drink, but do people invite me to parties? Not necessarily, because I'm standing there in the corner holding my cup of water, or maybe if I want to be a little extra wild, I'll drink some Fresca, maybe a Shirley Temple, something like that. But she's just hanging out in these expensive places. She also skips the glam, shows her real life messy dorm room, CVS makeup, and fried hair. That's what it says here. Am I able to go viral on TikTok for showing my crappy apartment, my pretty boring lifestyle? I should have started doing those types of videos before I started dating Aubrey, because back then I was really just, you know, at my place doing absolutely nothing. Maybe cleaning. You know, maybe I would upload a video of me doing sheet Sunday where I wash my bed sheets. Yeah. Imagine that. Getting millions of views for sheet Sunday. Anyway, I'm done talking about this. From ashes to new disease right here on K-Bear 101. The Los Angeles Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays will be squaring off in Game 1 of the World Series tonight in Toronto. The Dodgers are going for their 9th title and 2nd in a row. The Blue Jays have won 2 titles, but haven't won since 1993. As they have been all season long, the Dodgers are the heavy favorites at minus 220 to win it all, while the Blue Jays are a plus 180 underdog. 1993, 3 years before I was born. I know, such a baby. While ESPN's College Game Day pregame show is back in the SEC for the 2nd straight week and for the 5th time this season, things might look a bit different because they'll be in Nashville for for the Week 9 matchup between the number 14 ranked Missouri Tigers and Vanderbilt Commodores, ranked number 10. It's only the second time that Game Day has visited Nashville for a Vanderbilt football game. The only other time was in 2008 when the Commodores hosted Auburn and defeated the Tigers in a 14-13 upset. 38-year-old Lionel Messi just delivered one of the best seasons in Major League Soccer history, and it looks like the fun will continue as he signed a 3-year extension to sign with Inter Miami through 2028. Messi is Inter Miami's all-time leader with 71 goals, 36 assists, achievements he quickly attained since the club made its MLS debut in 2020. That does it for your Shot Clock Sports Update right here on K-Bear 101. We are a week away from drawing a winner for Make the Switch with Brent Gordon Law. If you haven't signed up yet, make sure to do so. Sign up through the K-Bear app once, sign up through the Alt 101 app once, and then sign up on the Cannonball 101 app once. Get your maximum 3 entries. If the Cannonball 101 app just all of a sudden just crashes for you each time you try to open it, make sure to get the new Cannonball 101 app. We got rid of the old one. It's a long story, but yeah, the old one no longer works. You need to download the new Cannonball 101 app if you want to earn the maximum 3 entries into this drawing. Sign up on all 3 apps. If you just want to be that person that signs up once on K-Bear or once on Alt, once on Cannonball, you can do that too. Listen for the Mario sounder as well. Be caller 13 when you hear that at 208-535-1015 to score an extra entry into the drawing. You can also become caller 13 like as many times as you want, or be caller 13 as many times as you want and score extra entries that way. That's how you stack the entries. You don't sign up like 10 times on the K-Bear app thinking you have 10 entries. No, 9 of them just get deleted. I hit the little trash can button, go boop, 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 and it's all done. It's less time for me to delete entries than it is to fill out the form multiple times on any one of the apps. But make sure to sign up in order to win that Nintendo Switch 2 bundle, because not this weekend, but next weekend, Saturday, November 1st into Sunday, November 2nd, we fall back an hour, and we want to make the time change just a tad bit easier for one lucky listener to win that Nintendo Switch 2 bundle. Again, thanks to Brent Gordon Law for helping us out. I also want to give thanks to Juice City Vapor for helping us out with our K-Bear Rockin' Halloween. We got right here one of those tracks, one of the 2 of the hour, and then Halloween, nonstop Halloween music. Agents of Oblivion, Phantom Green on K-Bear 101. There has been a lot of debate about phones at concerts, no phones at concerts, phones at restaurants, no phones at restaurants. Usually whenever I eat with somebody, I never pull my phone out. I find it almost rude to be scrolling on my phone, texting with somebody else, rather than chatting with the person in front of me, right? This Washington, D.C. restaurant getting a ton of attention, not just for its menu, but they have a no-phone policy, which diners are more than happy to abide by. And, I mean, this restaurant's making the national radio prep, so I feel like they're doing pretty well for themselves right now, because I'm talking about this particular restaurant. Rock Harper, owner and chef of Hush Harbor. Is it the person's name, Rock Harper? Basically, this restaurant in Washington, D.C. requires diners to put their phones in a yonder pouch, which are then locked, not able to be unlocked until they leave the restaurant. And then some people are like, wow, I really enjoy being without my phone and speaking with somebody. No kidding. My former friend Bobby used to be glued to his phone. It was the most annoying thing. He'd be scrolling this. I don't know how many people he'd be texting. I find texting annoying as I get older. Like, I've talked about this many times before. No wonder dudes in their 60s are just sending okay and the thumbs up emoji. That's what predominantly my dad does. I hate texting. I really do. If somebody wants to text me all day, or what's even worse is when they text me and I don't reply, and then they do the whole, like, hope you're having a good day, bro. I'll just completely block them from my contacts. Wow, this subreddit r/anti-work. Yeah. Somebody just posted, well, yesterday they posted, my boss just called a mandatory meeting with 25 staff members to fire/humiliate my coworker in front of a crowd. Yeah. Goes on to say, this happened yesterday. Boss schedules an emergency meeting, all hands on deck, wouldn't say what it's about. We all show up thinking it's something important. Nope, spent 20 minutes publicly calling out the coworker for performance issues before firing them in front of everyone. What an evil boss, right? Evil dictator. Like, nobody is ever going to respect you. Here's the thing. Like, the whole, like, I need to fear my boss mentality is so stupid, right? It's awful. It's like, oh, we want to make you fearful when you come to work. If you do one lousy job, magically you're going to get outed in front of everybody, and it's going to be called like this cute thing, you know? It's quite stupid. The top reply is what I wholeheartedly agree with. Definitely start job hunting unless you someday want a meeting called about you. The person was crying by the end, no kidding. We were all uncomfortable. Nobody knew what to do afterward. The boss acted like it was totally normal, went back to their office. Is that even legal? Yeah, this post goes on to say even the same thing. Is this even legal? Like, looking for a new job starting today? No kidding, yeah. People wonder why, hey, nobody wants to work. Well, there's heartless sociopath bosses just like this person out there ruining it for everybody, you know? The restaurant business is tough, and if you don't have enough people coming to eat, your restaurant won't survive. That's exactly what happened to the owner of an Italian restaurant in London, and he's letting the locals know just how angry he is with them. The Don Ciccio restaurant was forced to shut down after 6 years. The owner decided to take some parting shots at the local community on his way out. He posted a message on the restaurant's website which read, "We have closed due to a lack of customers. To the community of Highgate and its neighbors, thank you for never supporting us, not even once. To those we served during lockdown when we were the only restaurant open, thank you for never visiting us once the pandemic ended." It goes on to say, to those who lived a few doors away yet ordered delivery from somewhere else, thank you for your commitment to distance. In short, thank you all for supporting us so perfectly. We may be the first Italian restaurant to close, not for bad food, bad reviews, or bad luck, but for the sheer indifference of our neighbors. I like this guy. I'm hoping he opens another restaurant. Now that this made national news, I'm hoping he'll spread the word about his new venture somewhere else, and everyone will surely show up because they found this letter so funny. Wow, another great question here. I might have to ask this for Mondays to Peach Their Own. What is the most overrated video game of all time? I saw Madden. I saw Call of Duty. Call of Duty was an obvious answer because Call of Duty used to be great back when I was like in middle school and I played Modern Warfare 2. That was a fantastic game. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, man, that brings back some memories. Michael Myers, playing that game with my friends way late into the night, playing Search and Destroy with that forced game chat, hearing what other people had to say. And now all of a sudden you can play as like Seth Rogen on Call of Duty, which is weird. You can play as Stan Smith from American Dad. I see a lot of people just naming the big franchises. Pokemon, Call of Duty, FIFA, Overwatch. I've never given Overwatch a chance just because it's not my type of game, really. Somebody wrote Fortnite. I found it pretty fun. I think it's pretty neat. Diablo 4, never played it myself. Never really cared for that type of game. I feel like my honest answer has to be Halo. I know. I just feel like a lot of people are like so what I'm going to call heck bent on the game, saying it's one of the greatest games of all time, like Halo 3. It's a classic, but I never cared for Halo. And I tried playing it a couple times. I'm like, this is what people were just obsessed with. That's my answer for the most overrated video game of all time, Halo, or any one of the Halo games, really. All right, it's time for today's To Peach Their Own question. We talked about this during the 2 p.m. hour. What's something you're afraid of that isn't really considered scary? I talked about my fear of fish and deep water, sticking my hand in the drain. I'm looking at some of the answers here in the K-Bear 101 Idaho Rock and Metal Facebook group, but please, by all means, call into the show. Let me know your answer, 208-535-1015. Captain Zach, loyal listener, Captain Zach, he wrote asking out a gal, which I know it takes a lot of courage to do so, but Zach, if you have somebody in mind, dude, go for it. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Go for it. If she says no, oh well. Her loss, right? Stuart, handrails that are made for short people. Anything made for short people absolutely sucks. Cars are made for short people. Roller coasters, airplanes. They don't think about us tall dudes, you know? Shannon brought up a great point. Taxidermy. I used to be deathly afraid of those animal heads on the walls. I'm not even kidding. My sister also has a fear of them too. Like there used to be a giant bison head somewhere right by where we grew up, and we had to run through that door hoping it wouldn't fall on us, you know? Showers/baths. How is this person afraid of that? I don't know. Moths. Most bugs are pretty scary. That's from Laura there. 208-535-1015. What's something you're afraid of that isn't really considered scary? Let me know. All right, we're talking fear for to each their own. Hey, K-Bear, how's it going?
Hi, I was just calling to answer the question.
Yeah, what are you afraid of that isn't exactly scary?
I'm afraid of, loose hair.
Loose hair, just like little strands of it left in the shower or something like that?
Yeah, hair that's not connected to the body. It makes me sick, and it's disgusting.
You ever, pull out that, clump of hair out of the drain?
I can't. I pay people to do it.
Oh, good. Oh, there we go. At least you have other people to do that for you. That's awesome. So it's a unique fear for sure. Well, thank you so much for that answer.
Yeah, of course. Have a good day.
You too. Got another person here. K-Bear, what's happening?
Hey, so answer to the question.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna kind of preface this with sometimes, not all the time.
Okay.
But eye contact.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes when you're in a job interview and that one boss just keeps staring at you with the giant eyes.
Exactly.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, or sometimes, like I said, sometimes my wife, I get scared to look her in the eye.
Hey, K-Bear, what's something you're afraid of that isn't considered scary?
So something I'm afraid of that, some people might also be afraid of them, but birds, man. Birds really, they freak me out. I was at a customer's house not too long ago. He had 3 pet birds flying around, and it took everything in me not to swat at them because I'm like, this is this man's pet, okay? That's, scared for my life.
Now, the bigger the bird, the scarier it is, right? If you see a giant crane walking around or an ostrich, kind of emu, maybe you're more so freaked out by them, or is it just really the same for all birds?
I want to say it's same for all birds. Geese, oh man, those things are terrorizers. They, they'll chase children and bite them. And pigeons, man, just disgusting creatures.
What really are scary are pelicans.
Ooh, those things. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a few horror movies about pelicans.
Thanks for listening to Peach's Pit Party, the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. Peach's Pit Party is hosted by me, Peaches, a.k.a. Brendan Peach, and is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com. Until next time, Peach out.